As we said at the beginning of the week, one of the decisions we would like to see from Warsaw is an agreement on a process for all parties to formulate ambitious emission commitments to put into the 2015 agreement in Paris. The EU has proposed an approach on several steps, and we're pleased that this has actually been getting quite good traction in the discussions under the ADP. As you know, we've had the discussion here earlier, Brazil is proposing to initiate a technical process under the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, to guide parties' choices of mitigation commitments for the 2015 agreement. Now, this proposal, the Brazilian proposal, focuses entirely on using historical emissions as an indicator. Now, from the EU perspective, we have no problem with discussing historical emissions. In fact, we are open to having that discussion. But we have a number of serious substantive and procedural concerns with Brazil's proposal. First of all, it focuses very narrowly on only one indicator, when we actually need a much wider basket of indicators. It also risks politicizing the IPCC, as this is a very political subject, and I think the fact that we are having this discussion here in Warsaw shows that. Also procedurally, it's not an issue that should be dealt with through the ADP. It's an issue that should be dealt with through the ADP and not through the substar, since it really goes to the heart of the 2015 agreement. And perhaps most worryingly, the proposal actually poses a very serious risk of delaying the new agreement beyond 2015 because of the time that would actually be needed to develop the indicator and then apply it to parties' commitments. And we think it's absolutely vital that we avoid sidetracking one or more of the key indicators in a process that could actually take until well beyond 2015. So the EU does want to talk about indicators, but we think that should be done in a process that is actually firmly anchored in the ADP, which is where we are having our negotiations on the new agreement. Again, this discussion should be about a much broader set of indicators, not just historical emissions. And that could include indicators like current and future emissions, projected GDP, could look at projected population growth, could look at development needs of countries, it could look at the potential for mitigating emissions, and it could look at the actual costs of mitigation in a country. So we very much want to engage on these elements. So this is not about not wanting to engage, we want to engage. But we do fear that the way the proposal has been put on the table carries a risk of politicization and of missing the deadline and focusing on a single indicator when we should be looking at a much broader set. Thank you.